YouTube, Timmy here. We're going to tweak the Magyar-style bow that I made for BNP Minecraft to up the draw weight, change its look a tiny bit, and the end result should be very nice. Basically, I want to slightly heat the scias, recurve them forward, just bend them forward a slight amount, maybe no more than an inch. I'd also like to add a tiny bit of reflex right here in the very outer portion of the limb, and or just depending on how that goes, a little bit of reflex right here at the base of the handle. Let's get started right here for now. We'll try working from both sides inward. Okay, something worth talking about. For starters, let me see. Okay, you can see that? Great, right there. When I heat areas like this, when I don't really want to puff it up, I try and focus the heat on the side that needs to stretch. And in this case, it's bending forward. So the side that has to go from a straight line to the outside of a curved line, or the curved shape, will be longer. This side out here will have to stretch, and this side will have to compress. If this is hot and this is less hot, this will stretch a lot and this will compress almost imperceptibly. But that's the basic idea. So I try and heat the back, focusing on the back. Then you heat the front a little bit, but I focus on the back, particularly the center, since we're going to be curving it. And remember, if you just go back and forth, the ends of your motion are going to be where the most heat is. Okay, think about it like this. If I go like this and this, you're basically pausing twice. So the ends of that line are going to get more heat than the center. So if you want to change that, you can either go in little curly cues, or you can do something like this: center, wider, full. Center, wider, full. That helps. I don't want it to puff up, so we're going to keep on testing it to make sure it doesn't. Okay, if that's even remotely... Nope, not even remotely soft. So we're just going to keep on doing it. Okay, so pause again. Check, see if you can curl it a little bit. Curve it. Nope. Well, curiously, it is puffing up a little bit. I didn't want that. But all the same, we're still going to be able to achieve the desired result, which is basically me doing this. Just bending it forward like this, checking the alignment, making sure it's still pretty much perfect, which it is. Okay. I'm going to heat a little higher up, a little higher up. If it's puffing, well, one, you know you're there, that's hot enough. Two, that's actually a little too hot. But that's the basic idea. Use that as an indicator. Okay, most of the curling is taking place right here, and that's fine. I'm satisfied with that. Looks good, feels good. Alignment is still spot on. See, I'm just grabbing it, bending it forward. Okay, so slight curve. Dead straight. Slight curve. I'd like a little bit more curve up here near the top, but I don't want to push my luck. I guess I could do it. what I'll do is I'll run it under some cool water so that the part that I heated previously doesn't continue puffing. And now I'll focus a little attention here on the very upper section from, say, here to just under the knock. Same idea as before, focusing predominantly on the rear. Looks like it's puffing in a different spot, or no, it's not. Good. Okay, let's try and bend it. No, that's still totally solid. So continue. The plastic really tells you what it needs. Great, now it is puffing. So now again, just curling it forward. That's all there is to it. Now just check for straightness. Make sure it stays fairly straight. Nice. I'm even going to pinch the top off just a little bit just to seal it. Okay, so very graceful curve. Not much. But even that much will add some draw weight. Let me make sure. Yeah, alignment's still great. Perfect. Makes me very happy. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. That change alone is going to add maybe an inch of reflex, which should add a few pounds of draw weight. We have no idea exactly how much, but that's what the tillering tree is for. Okay, let's go and do the same thing over here now. Check it. Nope. It's a very fine line when you're trying to do adjustments like this without puffing the plastic. It goes very quickly from not soft at all to too soft. Although, like you see, it's not too hard just to make minor adjustments, go back, make minor adjustments as long as you don't overdo it all too much at once. I see it puffing just a tiny bit there. That's an indication that it's starting to soften just the right amount. Oh, that's perfect. The whole thing is just about perfect, I think. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And it's still perfectly straight. Let me make sure. Yep. Great. What do you think? Looks good. Again, graceful curve. Now what I can do is take a counter like this, and I can turn it upside down. Looking at the limbs, you can see if one is recurved more than the other. And indeed, I think the one on our right now is slightly more recurved. So I'll need to do a tiny bit more on this one, which is the one that I was just shaping. Tiny bit more. I'll focus near the upper section this time. Okay, let's see if that did the trick. I don't think so. Check it again. Perfect. Now I think we've got, check for straightness. Looks good. And just make sure that it's even. So again, you're looking to see that the bow, the handle particularly, is perpendicular to the surface. And it's just shy of it, just a touch shy of it. Okay. Just check, and great. Perfect. Okay. So now you got nicely, gracefully curved sias that haven't just gone completely round. They've retained their shape, and yet we've added a touch of reflex. I think it looks a little bit more graceful now, and that's going to help. Now, the two other things I wanted to do was to add a touch of reflex here, because the sia ends, the insertion ends right around here, 2 inches in. So if I could heat this section up just a little bit and curve it forward a little more, that would add more reflex, more draw weight. I could also add some more right here at the handle area. If you add it far out in the outer section of the limb, it's going to keep the overall bow, the string angle is going to be lower throughout the draw. If you reflex more at the handle, string angle at the tip is going to be higher. What that means, I made a video a few weeks back about stack, and that's something that you'll have to take into consideration. Bows that have higher string angles throughout the draw are going to have a higher percentage of their draw weight as stack weight. Theoretically, that means it's not really doing all that much to sling an arrow. But let's go ahead and do another tweak now. Let's just do a tiny, tiny bit on the outer limb right here. See if we can't recurve it just another fraction of an inch. Because we're really close to where I want to be. Okay, I turned the heat down a little bit. And again, the back side, this side of the bow is going to have to stretch since I'm going to be curling it that way. So we want to heat this side a little bit more. We don't want to overheat. And we want to recognize that this portion isn't going to bend very much because it has the other plastic inserted inside of it. If you wanted it to bend at that point, you'd need to heat it for a lot longer, which weakens the plastic. Not a great idea. Okay, let's see if that's enough. Should be. And just gently, yeah, perfect. Okay. Checking straightness, perfectly straight. Let me just hold it down now on its side and make sure that I am actually adding reflex, which I am. Great. I'm holding it in the position that I want. I'm going to walk over to the sink and just run it under the water really quickly. Okay, so here's the adjusted side. You can see the fairly sharp angle. Here's the unadjusted side, a very graceful low angle. We're going to now go and just do that over here so it matches. And mind you, at every stage of the game, every single change you're making, you should be correcting the straightness of the bow, because everything you're doing is going to screw it up. So if you've already screwed it up, this can be an opportunity to fix the screw-ups. If you screw it up while you're tweaking it, that'll be an opportunity to well, fix it right then and there as you're making the mistake. And it's not a mistake, it's just something that happens, but the sooner you can catch it, the sooner you can correct it, the better. That assumes, of course, you're not trying to make a snaky bow. I have very little experience with those, so I will leave that to the experts. Bruce Labradee, I know, makes snaky bows. He's a very, very talented bowyer. I would definitely be looking to for his advice if I were thinking of making one like that. And Nick, of course. Okay, great. Same thing we've accomplished. Putting it here, the handle is perpendicular. I'm going to hold it in that position, take it, and cool it real quick. Great. Those two things that I just did, recurving it, is going to add draw weight. It's also going to require a slightly shorter string. That's my suspicion now, because when I pull this back, a good amount of the string is going to be almost in a straight line with the Sias. Anyway, okay, forget that whole point. I don't know where I was going with it. It's far too late at night. Bottom line is that's basically the finished bow. I'm going to test it again, and if that doesn't take it to at least 45 pounds, I'll be surprised. That's good enough for the moment, and then I can continue tweaking it later if need be. But I'm happy to have shown this to you. I like showing people techniques and how I do things, and that's a very gradual, graceful tweak. You can always come back and curve it more, just as much as you want. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful to you, and I hope you tune in again.